My name is Luke Helsel, and today I will be presenting the strategic analysis on Ford Motor Company. So to begin, I'm going to go through a company overview, followed by external factors affecting the industry, internal factors affecting Ford, and finally I'm going to end with a strategic issue identified and also recommendations to help Ford combat that. So to begin, I'm going to go through Ford's timeline. They were founded in 1903 by Henry Ford. They produced the Model T in 1908, which was the first widely owned vehicle in America. They also introduced the assembly line in 1913, which was huge in cutting production time. They changed the average production time of a vehicle from 12 hours to roughly an hour and 33 minutes. This was really big for their production costs, and they were able to double the minimum wage of their workers in turn. Next, I'm going to look at the mission statement of Ford, and this is to help build a better world where every person is free to move and pursue their dreams. Ford does a really good job of helping their customers envision a better future while also seeing the association to Ford and their vehicles. They incorporate the word move in here, which is the direct tie to Ford vehicles and the dream of a better world for tomorrow. Next, I'm going to look at the current trends. These will be affecting the whole industry. These trends would be related to the increasing demand of electric vehicles, the interest in autonomous vehicles, and environmental awareness of its consumers. Finally, I'm going to identify General Motors and Toyota as Ford's key rivals. This is mostly due to the global scale of operations that these companies also possess while being in the mature phase of the company. So I started out with a PESTEL analysis, going through the different external factors affecting the industry. Political factors, I looked at stability and money regulations, such as tax laws and minimum wage laws. So these are all really big for Ford. First, stability is a key aspect to look at when looking into growth and globalization. Ford needs to evaluate the country or region's stability first. You don't get incorporated into a country that has poor leadership, is on the brink of war. Items like that can really be harmful to potential sales within the country. For tax rates and minimum wage laws, Ford size is a big advantage for them in this, so they can kind of move production around to find the more favorable rates on minimum wage laws for them for production. Next is economic. These are mostly macroeconomic, so they look at the whole country factors. Some of the bigger ones would be the internal growth rate expected, inflation and deflation, currency exchange rates. Next is social, which is consumer desires. As mentioned in the current trends, this is mostly a shift towards electric vehicles and the go green. Technological. Right now, the automotive industry is kind of on the verge of shifting towards electric vehicles and autonomous vehicles. So innovation is really proving key right now. It's kind of a race between the automotive producers to who can create the best and most affordable electric vehicles. Next is environmental. This is mostly a shift towards green energy. This also ties into the consumer desires as well as the current trends. Ford has done well with this as they plan to be carbon neutral by 2050 and release a full fleet of Lincoln as well as Ford vehicles by 2030 that are fully electric. Finally, is legal. These come out in mandates, laws, and regulations, mostly relating to work safety and environmental impacts of companies. So these are things that all automotive companies need to be aware of when going through production regulations. Next is the Porter 5 force analysis, and this talks about the forces being exerted on the industry as a whole. So the threat of new entrants is low for the automotive industry, mostly due to the large startup cost as well as the brand recognition. It'd be very hard for a new player to enter the game for the startup cost, and again, because they won't be able to compete with the brand recognition of companies like Ford and General Motors. Next is the threat of suppliers. This is relatively low just because there are such a large number of suppliers for the automotive industry. Car manufacturers can shift pretty freely between these, and someone to the size of Ford can really exert some size advantage over these suppliers and then leverage their size to ensure better deals with these suppliers. Next is the power of buyers. This is pretty high just because consumer demands really dictate sales and revenues for a company. And also there's pretty few barriers that stop consumers from shifting car companies. Next is the threat of substitutes. This is relatively high as we see more urbanization in America. With urbanization, we see more ride sharing, which is a cheaper alternative, as well as public transportation becoming more popular. And finally is rival amongst competitors. This is definitely the highest force, just because these companies are all so mature. And now, like I said earlier, it's just a race to see who can innovate the fastest and the cheapest. Next, we're going to look at Ford's performance. Some interesting trends here to highlight is the decreasing overall revenue from 2017 to 2021. But to combat this, they also have increasing profit. Now, while revenue and profit typically go hand in hand, there are certain exceptions, such as in Ford's case. If you follow the third row down, you can see the overall decreasing trend of the cost of their revenues. So while they're not selling as much, they're also producing at a much more efficient rate, and this has helped them to grow their profit over the past couple of years. To focus in, I'm going to look at the fourth quarter of 2021, where they retook their spot as the leading car manufacturer in America, and this has been pretty big for Ford as the U.S. is their largest source of revenue. They also reinstilled their dividends for the fourth quarter 2021, which has been an encouraging sign for their investors. I then did a SWOT analysis going through the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats for Ford specifically. So the big strengths are their brand recognition and their research and development. The global brand recognition that Ford has would be really tough to emulate. The research and development they've been devoting a ton of resources to recently, which has paid off in terms of their development of electric vehicles. Next to their weaknesses, Ford's had a long-standing issue and problems with their product recalls. So in 2020, they recalled 2.5 million vehicles, and 2021, they recalled 5.3 million vehicles. Now, these numbers are slightly inflated due to airbag issues that faced the industry in 2006. Ford fought this case and they ended up losing in 2020, which has really inflated these numbers compared to their competitors who started doing the recalls back in 2006 for the faulty airbags. As far as opportunities go, I identify electric vehicles as a huge opportunity for Ford, as this is kind of the general shift of the automotive industry. Ford needs to be able to capitalize on this. And another opportunity would be increasing their customer base. They've performed pretty poorly in emerging markets and foreign markets overall. They've seen sales really decrease in 2021 in basically every country outside of the US. This really needs to be an area of focus and opportunity for them. Finally, the threats that Ford faces. Definitely, as mentioned before, the competitive rivalry is huge because every company is trying to accomplish largely the same tasks right now of introducing electric vehicles and autonomous vehicles into the regular supply chain. And then second would be increasing costs. These are mostly due to pandemic factors we can see extended in the current future. So this would be related to materials costs as well as labor costs. The pandemic causing so many work shortages has really upped the prices of a lot of materials and resources that Ford needs. I then conducted a VRIO analysis to identify core competencies for Ford. Through this, I identified their corporate culture and brand recognition as their core competencies, while other resources that I analyzed were their financials and their marketing. Their financials, I found they're not overly rare within the industry, as you have other large competitors who have even better income statements and balance sheets than Ford. I also said that marketing was not a core competency, because I feel their marketing overall could use a rebrand. They haven't had too much success globally in recent years. I then went through their value chain to see how their production is adding value to Ford. With the decreasing costs of revenue, they're doing a good job of keeping production efficient. This is broken down into two categories, primary and support. The primary activities are more the physical steps of buying the parts, putting them together, and then selling the car, while the support activities are kind of more behind the scenes actions, such as their research and development and their corporate culture and dedication to developing their employees. Out of these, I would say that Ford needs to focus on the after-sales service to ensure larger brand recognition and customer loyalty. But I think they're doing an excellent job in the support activities, highlighting the human resources and research and development. Next, I looked at their competitive and diversification strategies. I would say that there's two main thoughts on differentiation. There can be, non-differentiation, on diversification. You can go through a cost leadership, which is producing the same product at cheaper prices, or differentiation, which produces higher quality items. Right now, Ford is under a differentiation strategy as they shift towards electric vehicles. Their competitive advantage, as mentioned, kind of rely on their core competencies of their corporate culture and also their research and development, which lead to more innovation. I also identify them as being geographically diversified as they operate in different countries around the world. Their growth and globalization has kind of taken a hit in recent years. While their CEO, Jim Farley, kind of contributes this to their shift towards electric vehicles, they're consolidating manufacturing right now in hopes of later expansion with the electric vehicles. But this has really hurt their sales in foreign markets. They got global for their cost leadership at producing cheap cars through the assembly line, and the transition to differentiation is at the threat of really costing Ford some customers globally. Next, I looked at their corporate culture. In 2021, they won numerous awards for top CEOs, employee morale, retention rates. Their corporate culture has done a really good job of helping Ford stay relevant, even though their sales are declining. Their code of ethics plays a large part in this, where they promote teamwork and they really value human interaction within the company and not relying too much on technology, and they prefer face-to-face interactions. Next, I identified the strategic issue with Ford. I found the largest issue to be their weak presence in the global markets. Again, Jim Farley contributed to the transition towards electric vehicles, but I think this is a larger problem just because they consolidate too much back into America. They become really dependent on just America for revenue, as well as they start to lose their foothold in these foreign markets. So I came up with 2 recommendations to help Ford combat this. I think they should adapt their globalization strategy to be more partner-based. This would reduce the startup costs of initiating business in countries. They can look for partnerships, even in ride-sharing companies like Uber and Lyft, who are starting to operate globally. This would reduce the cost of manufacturing. They don't even have to manufacture at this point if they're just trying to maintain some sort of foothold. They could split warehouses and sell some cars to these ride-sharing services, and that would at least get their brand recognition still widely recognized. The second recommendation was to blend the cost leadership and differentiation strategies. If they were able to produce cheaper vehicles, they would likely be more attractive to emerging markets as they were back when they operated solely on cost leadership strategy. And while this might not be the best idea for their short-term revenues, if they want to be a larger player long-term in the electric vehicle market, I believe it's really important for Ford to establish themselves within these companies and secure a customer base within these companies. Not companies, countries. Finally, here are my references, and if anyone has any questions or want me to specify any of these points, feel free to email me or leave a comment on the post. Thank you.